It is so funny to me that when we talk about men's mental health, men want to blame women and feminism for the state that men's mental health is in. When in reality, the reason that men's mental health is in a crisis is because of men.
The unhappiness of women in heterosexual relationships with men is a feature, not a bug. Women's unhappiness is the point, and I will prove it to you. So you tell women their whole lives that their happiness is only going to come from being in a romantic relationship with men, and you put all of their focus on that goal from a very young age.
You are in a psyop about the value exchange between men and women. Let me explain. You have been raised in this culture that has led you to believe that the things that are valued most highly is a man's attention, him paying attention to you, his validation, him saying that he thinks you're hot or smart or creative or your creativity is good, what you produce is good, and his commitment, that he's willing to date you, to marry you, to father children with you, to enter into economic agreements with you.
A lot of men can't handle their wives aging, and I'm not just talking about their appearance. I had a phone conversation with a man who was concerned about his wife. This couple is in their mid to late 80s. He's concerned about her because when she gets up to cook dinner, a few minutes later, she has to go sit down for a few minutes and then get back up and finish what she's doing. Again, she's in her 80s and she's on oxygen.
Women are conditioned from an early age to be obsessed with love and chase men. We were taught that we are incomplete without a man, and for us to feel fulfilled in life, we need to get a man that completes us. This message is reinforced everywhere, from the movies we watch, the books we read, family expectation, societal expectation. It's gotten to the point that almost every woman on this planet thinks that way, and some even believe that it has to be that way. Once a woman gets to a certain age, she begins to think and believe that her life has no meaning because she has no man in her life.
How did you meet the love of your life?
Oh, I don't think I have. I don't have a life partner right now. And this is the first since I was a young girl that I am living on my own. And it actually feels quite nice. It doesn't take for you to be with someone to be complete. I think I feel the most complete right now.
What would you say to those people who, might be afraid of being alone with themselves?
They're not missing anything, though. What they have to do is they have to learn about themselves. When you find yourself, you're going to find someone to be around and be with, but there's lots of reasons not to be lonely. You're never alone first. There's always that spiritual vibe out there.
And how to distinguish love from simple affection or a crush?
That is the question. Love is effortless. If the love is there, there's not much you have to do to make it continue. Versus crushes, you work on them. You always are showing off for them. If you can be with somebody and the feeling of love is there, you never have to change the way that you are, the things that you do. There's give and take, but at the same time, it's like, the feeling when you first meet somebody and everything is just so nice. If it could always stay that way, no matter what, that is love.
To women, marriage has been framed as the ultimate goal, but what we don't talk enough about is how much of a job marriage is. In so many ways, marriage is a reward that patriarchy hands to men. Women are the ones to serve men, and to be honest with you, I don't know what agreement you had in the past, but just know that men benefit the most from marriage, and marriage is a reward for men. This reward includes them having a dedicated caretaker, someone to make their life easier for them. The training of this marriage role for women starts the moment we get born into this world. The grooming starts from an early age, and unknown to us, we're being groomed to serve men. We're being groomed to be good wife materials to men.
The unhappiness of women in heterosexual relationships with men is a feature, not a bug. Women's unhappiness is the point, and I will prove it to you. So you tell women their whole lives that their happiness is only going to come from being in a romantic relationship with men, and you put all of their focus on that goal from a very young age. They spend all their time and energy trying to look attractive, trying to learn what boys like, trying to, learn how to attract men. Then when they do finally get picked and they find themselves in a marriage with a man, and then it's wholly unfulfilling, and she's suddenly not just full of happiness because she happens to have a man in her house, she will then spend all of her energy trying to make him love her more so that she can get that happiness. She'll try to look pretty. She will try to get into her feminine. She will try to adopt any hobbies that he has so that she can get that closeness and validation from him that is been sold to her as her life's purpose. So from basically childhood through, I don't know, the first 10, 20 years of her marriage, at least the first half of her life, most women are like a greyhound in a greyhound track chasing a fake bunny. And what are men doing during this time? They're out in the world doing stuff. They're developing themselves. They're educating themselves. They're chasing their careers. They're acquiring power. Because anytime women are allowed to actually compete with men, we outperform them. We've all seen the studies showing that you're more likely to have better health outcomes and you're more likely to live if you have a female surgeon versus a male. We all know the studies that show that the more women that a corporation puts on its board, the better that corporation performs. We all remember that in 2020, during the height of COVID, all of the countries led by women greatly outperformed the countries led by men. Single women now own more homes than single men. Women are eclipsing men in every level of education right now. So the reason they sent us off on this fantasy quest to find our personhood via the romantic love and validation of another person was because only by distracting us to that degree could they actually compete with us. It's the only way that patriarchy could keep its grip on power. Because even the greatest romantic relationship that exists on this earth is not going to provide the entirety of meaning that a person needs in this life. It's not a meal that contains all of the sustenance that life has to offer. And it was never meant to. And patriarchy's grip right now, which is tightening on us because it can feel us slipping away, is reliant largely on the group of women who have not yet woken up to this.
Please, if you're yet to subscribe, please hit that subscribe button and like this video. Thank you. Let's have a look at the comment section. When I was married, I would get waves nausea every weekend. I could never figure out why. When I got divorced, my nausea went away. I blame Cosmopolitan and 17 magazine. 2 years ago at 55, I told my husband that I was going to focus on myself and my own happiness for the first time ever. He has been very unhappy and I'm not centering him. It's not my job to make him happy. It blows my mind that my ex chased me for months, gave up everything he had for me, only to treat me like shit and I left. Like why? Why all the effort only to be a jerk? You know, when men meet women for the first time, they bring their best foot forward. If a man can bring his best foot forward at the initial stage of relationship, why is he struggling with sustaining it? They flip, they change, they pretend to be who they are not at the beginning. Not all men, but a lot of men. So if a man knows what to do to woo a woman and changes to something else, something bad, after getting into a relationship with that woman, what does that tell you? Men are very intentional. They know what they are doing. They act to be dumb. They act like they don't know what they are doing. They weaponize incompetence. Men are very deliberate. They are very intentional with their actions when it comes to women.
You are in a psyop about the value exchange between men and women. Let me explain. You have been raised in this culture that has led you to believe that the things that are valued most highly is a man's attention, him paying attention to you, his validation, him saying that he thinks you're hot or smart or creative or your creativity is good, what you produce is good, and his commitment, that he's willing to date you, to marry you, to father children with you, to enter into economic agreements with you. This is what is valued the most high within a male-centered paradigm. This is a psyop, and it is something that sets up men as the prize, and it is something that convinces women that men really are the source of all of the things that we want, that they're the source of status, love, connection, security, meaning. It also does this crazy attachment system number on us where if a man can make his attention, validation, and commitment scarce, because we're market driven and we're trained to be market driven in society, it makes that even more valuable. Like if you've ever had a man who will not give you the time of day or who is very stingy with his validation or is always elusive in committing to you, and you find yourself just chasing it and liking him more than everyone else, feeling like only he can be the one to bring you these things. Of course, it's trauma and it's loops and it's attachment system, but also it's just because he's managed to make those resources within him more valuable by their scarcity. It's like he's the limited edition Jordans. He's the Pablo Picasso. Like the validation from him would be the same as having a Pablo Picasso in your home. So part of decentering men comes from being able to decondition from this value structure that has been installed in our minds. And so we do that in a few different ways. The first is we actually have to level set the value that men bring into our lives. And then we need to address the fact of revaluing, of properly valuing all the things that we bring to men as women. And there's the third way that I'll get to at the end. But the only way that men have been able to put these things up so high is by devaluing everything that we bring to them as women. And this is, the multidimensionality of this cannot be overstated. In every traditional cosmology that has used men and women, that has used masculine and feminine, women are the source, right? We are the portal through which new life comes. We are the generators. We are the source. All of these different cultures, all these different civilizations, the yin, the shakti, the energetic principle has always been within women. That women are the source, that God is a woman, that the earth is a woman. And this is what the PSYOP is trying to get us to forget. Because even within scientific materialism, even within late capitalism, even within just the landscape of social status that men live in, this world of social status of men, it's actually us. Even in that distorted reality, that are still the source. That it is a woman who brings status to a man.
A woman brings status to a man. Ask yourself why married men live longer than single men. Men need women to babysit them and clean after them. Men need women to have their life organized. I always say this, most men cannot exist without women. Let's see what people are saying in the comment section. This is so important, and I've always said that I feel that women give life. That's priceless. We enrich others around us. I have no idea where I would be without these videos. I'm not even joking. I've had such low esteem worthy my whole life, but I'm finally learning how to see value in myself and not from the attention of men. Yeah. You should value yourself. You should raise your bar. You should raise your standard. Don't wait for a man to come validate you. Please don't do that. Exactly. Women need to remember their value and that it is not determined by what a man thinks. He is irrelevant to your value. That's true talk. Once society stops trying to make out that being single is a bad thing, women would just be happy loving themselves. And I think we are getting there. I think we should live our lives regardless of what the society think. We should not live our lives according to what the society thinks. Whether they make it that way or they don't, if you choose to be single, then remain single. Don't wait for the society to endorse that, because it might never happen. I wasted 6 years investing in a man who thought he could replace me with strangers. No, he's alone and lonelier than ever. Don't ever take a woman who loves you for granted. It will ruin your life.
A lot of men can't handle their wives aging, and I'm not just talking about their appearance. I had a phone conversation with a man who was concerned about his wife. This couple is in their mid to late 80s. He's concerned about her because when she gets up to cook dinner, a few minutes later, she has to go sit down for a few minutes and then get back up and finish what she's doing. Again, she's in her 80s and she's on oxygen. And no matter what age, when you're on oxygen, if your lungs aren't working properly, you're gonna be tired. You're gonna get worn out fast. And he said all she does is lay on the couch. She'll get up to start something and she'll work on it a few minutes and then she'll go sit back down for 10 or 15 minutes and then she'll get up to finish it. And I'm just concerned, is there a pill or something she can take? And just from his tone of voice, I thought this was something new. That this has just recently started and that something was wrong, she was sick. Until the wife got on the phone. And she said, no, he's just so used to me doing everything. And he is also disabled. And I have cared for him for the last 10 years. And now that I'm on oxygen and I get tired. And I could hear this man in the background speaking to his wife in a not so gentle way. And I realized what this was. His issue wasn't that his wife was wearing out and getting tired. His issue was that she couldn't serve him anymore.
She's right. Most men out there don't care about the women they have in their lives. They don't care about their wives. They only see women as their appliance, as a tool to get something done. They only care about the services they are getting from their women. Be it she bringing their kids into this world or she taking care of their lives, being there for them, managing the home. They don't care about the woman as a person. So if something happens to their wife, they get angry and they're so quick to replace her. What does that tell you? They are after the service. This also explains why some men are quick to leave their wives when they are critically ill. To them, there is nothing in there for them anymore. The woman was there in the first place to serve them. So if she's ill, who is now going to take her place and do those house chores and serve them? So to them, the best line of action is for them to go out there and get a woman that is capable of doing that for them. Men are selfish. My dad straight up told me he was with my mom purely so someone would take care of him in his old age, and he was annoyed she started having health problems, so he has to take care of her instead. My mom wrecked her whole body working as a housekeeper for hire for decades, and my dad still can't come to terms with her needing help now that they are in their 70s and she's riddled with arthritis. My granddad threw my grandmom out of the house when she could no longer prepare the fire as she had for him 60 years. She was homeless for 2 weeks until he died of pneumonia and she bought an electric fire. My ex of 10 years literally said a year after we broke up, I need to find a girlfriend fast. I don't want to die alone and my apartment is getting dirty. My mom on hospice said she regretted being a servant to her husband and wasted decades, told me to never get married. My grandfather had been sick for quite a long time and my grandmother cared for him, but in the last couple of years, she was worse than he was and she needed care. He was so mad at her for that. Just imagine. So women are not allowed to fall ill because it is their responsibility to serve men. So if you're out there for service, you're not supposed to fall ill. And that takes away the fact that you are a human. You're not supposed to fall ill. A lot of men don't view women as humans, honestly. They see us as robots.
It is so funny to me that when we talk about men's mental health, men want to blame women and feminism for the state that men's mental health is in. When in reality, the reason that men's mental health is in a crisis is because of men. When I give a presentation, I would say 70 to 80% of the people who are there are women. Even when I give a talk on men's mental health, the most people there are women. Like 75% of my audience on TikTok is women. My biggest supporters are women. There are so many women that care about their fathers, their brothers, their uncles, their sons. They are willing to do anything to help them. But men won't do a single thing to help themselves. And men want to go back to the 1950s when women had less rights and stood, in the kitchen to take care of the families. Men weren't happy there either. They were drinking all the time. The only pushback I get in public or on social media about men's mental health is from other men. So if you want to fix the mental health crisis and really help men in their mental health, start with yourself.
My brother loves to use his mental health issue to excuse his bad behavior, but refuses to take any steps, therapy, meds, etc. to fix those issues. My dad told me that therapy pisses him off. Do you not see the problem in the statement, Dad? Men don't like going to therapy, honestly. They often say, why should they go sit down there and tell their problem to their fellow men or to a woman? To them, it does not make sense. I think there is also this stigma or belief that self-care is not masculine. Yes, this commenter is right. Men have been made to believe that self-care, hygiene is not masculine, it's feminine, and they've been told to stay away from anything that would put them in that light. Anything that will make people to perceive them to be feminine, they've been told to stay away from that. Imagine someone telling you that taking care of yourself and your environment, cleaning after yourself is feminine, and then you believe it. What does that say about you? And not just them telling them that that is feminine. They were also told that women will do that for them. That's why you see a lot of men lazing around expecting women to come cater for them, clean after them. Like men don't even go to the doctor as much when they are sick. So married men expect their women to book doctor's appointment for them, remind them when to go to doctor, and also remind them when to take their meds. It's crazy. They think needing help is weak, but it's not. If you'd love to watch more videos like this, click this video to watch men speak on how the vow till death do us part is very dangerous. And I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.